Peace, y'all. Happy Saturday. Happy Saturday. Before I get busy, I want to share a word that came while I was in meditation this AM. I looked at the moon cycle that we're in, which we're in the last quarter moon. And the last quarter moon is a phase where we're encouraged to be aware of the social structures around you. Be aware of them, and also if there are social structures that are around you and that you find yourself becoming a part of that are not in alignment, be aware of that and do what you need to do to build your own structures to keep you in alignment. So what I did is I started to think, what are some typical social structures, that are a part of this society? What are some typical social structures that are a part of this society? And this is where my meditation ended up going and staying for this AM. And so some of the typical social structures is, and I'm looking at my, I'm looking at, somebody said workplace. I'm looking at my journal now. That's what you see me looking down at. So some of the typical social structures is leaning on logic. That's one, leaning on logic. Another one is being realistic, if it's easy, is you being lazy. Like, seeking ease is seeking to be lazy. Relaxing is a waste of time. When something happen in our lives, or we come into an opportunity, or we're seeking something out in life, our first action is from our intellect instead of our intuition. I mean, we even call the what I call first eye, we call it third eye. And our first eye right here in the center, that chakra represents our intuition, and that's just so telling for it to be considered the third eye instead of the first eye, Also, living mostly outside of ourselves, that's another social structure, a typical social structure. Choosing logic and reason over trust and faith. Isolation tend to be frowned upon. Selffulness is seen as selfishness. And then also survival as top priority versus alignment. The first things we're taught, the first lessons we are taught in life, even in our schooling, is how do we survive? How do we compete? Like that's our typical social structure. And so I said, all right, so if we're seeking alignment, what are the new structures? What are the new structures that we need to consider? And I wrote, consult spirit with life's tasks and struggles first. Consult spirit first. Awareness, trusting the signs and symbols around you. Embracing isolation and stillness when it's necessary, Also embracing ease and flow, embracing that. And looking out for paths of least resistance instead of feeling like, if it come easy, it ain't worth it kind of thing, Treat life as a sacred assignment with personalized dynamics that will render unique yet collectively important lessons, blessings, and reflections of God. And once I wrote that, I was like, I want to share this word, because this society will make you feel like life is all about just surviving. And many of us have grown up in families that have been in survival mode, for generations and generations and generations. And this is why a lot of our ancestors have transitioned from heart disease and a lot of diseases that come on because of stress and worry and, all of those toxic, imbalanced emotions. We have for generations been in survival mode. instead of so we're mostly seeking survival versus alignment. And when we seek alignment, that's when we really are able to align with our divine assignments. And when you are in alignment with your divine assignments in life, you know, you may experience struggle, you may experience challenge, but it will be accompanied with peace that surpasses all understanding, divine intelligence that show you the way, you know, divine insights that help you to navigate through some of the murky waters sometimes, divine and sacred emotions that show you, that give you an indication of something, that give you that come with messages. You know, those feelings will become messengers and not toxic in your life, you know. So, you know, the word really is, let us treat life as a sacred assignment. Let us treat life as a sacred assignment. If we really see life as a sacred assignment, then we will be more attentive. We will appreciate it, all the experiences. We will understand that we are one of the main players in it. We are co-creators in the process, and our assignment is to stay in a state, keep ourselves in a state where we can function as supreme beings, divine beings, or spiritual beings. Meaning, we stay in this state. Let me just talk about this state that I'm talking about. Stay in that state where we can function as spiritual beings that are able to be effective co-creators in your process. It's not stressed, worried, fearful, doubtful, resentful, angry. It's not, you know, that's not the state. You know, it is very difficult to gain divine insight, and it is very difficult to vibrate on the frequency of flow when you are in those states. The state that we should strive to be in is a peaceful state, a still state, a mindful, aware, calm, poised, you know, confident, and really Godfident, because a lot of the confidence that people possess is that root word, is them cunning themselves to believe that they are strong, they are powerful, they are willing, and all of those different things. Godfidence, though, is on a whole nother level. It's like I'm really functioning knowing that I am a spiritual divine being, and that, you know, I have everything that I need in order for me to really live out my destiny and live out my divine assignment. This is the state that, you know, we should strive to be in. But this state that we're talking about, you know, it's a luxury. It's like we get in that state on vacation. There are books written about the flow state. That's what they call it, the flow state, you know. And the flow state is usually not reached in the typical person's life unless they're on vacation, unless they're doing something that's stimulating and exciting, which they typically don't do. You know, sometimes that flow state is reached in highly charged sexual experiences or something like that. But we're talking about reaching that flow state and staying there consistently. And when you're able to do that, that's when you really can, your this divine life that you're meant to come here and live, it really can unfold for you. It is a reality. I bear witness. And it's not to say I'm just special or anything like that. It's just, it has become just so clear to me that in order for you to truly experience what your inner being keeps nudging you and reaching for, you must pull yourself out from outside of yourself. Go within yourself. Get to know you. Get to know God. Get to know self. Get to know you. Get to know your inner being, your highest self, all of these different type of things. Get to understand that life is a sacred assignment. begin to honor your experiences instead of attaching to them and judging them. Be still and know, that your divinity comes with a divine guidance and divine protection. Really get to understand faith and understand God, and get bold about, sticking with that as your truth, so that it can be shown to you as truth. It can be proven to you as truth. But you can't grow in faith and knowing unless you try it, And so that becomes the assignment. It becomes the assignment for you to trust, for you to practice your faith, for you to trust your faith. Or some would say, prove your faith, prove your knowing. That becomes your divine assignment. And with that divine assignment, it takes some work. It takes you sometimes battling with your ego. It takes you swallowing your ego sometimes. It takes you to study. It takes you to get some support. It takes all of that. And that is truly the work, and that's the assignment. And if that's not your predominant focus in life, if your focus is taken away from that too much, and you tend to find yourself focused on other people, other things, the job, the workplace, the spouse, the children, the this, the that, then yes, you do, as many have. You fall into a life of chaos and strife and struggle, sadness, fear, doubt, shame, trauma, resentment, all of these different type of things. And so the remedy will always be, it's not in a pill, it's not in a spell or a magic ritual. It's not in that. It's in you pulling yourself from outside of yourself and going within yourself. I give thanks for the word, May we see life as a divine, sacred assignment. May we see life as a sacred assignment with personalized dynamics. Dynamics that's just for you. Experiences that's especially assigned to you, that will render unique, personalized, important lessons, blessings, and reflections of God that will also be important for the collective. May we see life as that. We give thanks. I share for the word. Peace, y'all. It's Saturday. So I'll be at OU Marketplace today from 11 to 6. Come through and see me if you're in Atlanta, man. It's it's a little chilly out, but it's nice. You know what I'm saying? You can come and chill. Nice vibes. I'll be there all day from 11 to 6. And then also, if you're interested in learning more about how do we get to that flow state, sis, like, what do we do? How do we, I want to get in this flow state you're talking about. You make it sound so good. And I ain't just making it sound good. I bear witness. God is good. I bear witness. Listen, check out OU Ministries, okay? OUministries.com. There are study groups available. There are opportunities available for you to become a part of a community of people who are committed to reaching that state and living their lives in its greatest form, being able to experience God in all of its greatest forms in their life. You will be introduced to a community of people who are committed to that. And thus we are experiencing it, and we're learning how to stay in that flow state. And we're supporting each other so we can be able to stay in that flow state. Not because we go up in the mountain and hide ourselves. No, we're all living our lives. We mamas, sisters, brothers, because we workers, business owners, we're living our lives and living it well, because our striving is to stay in alignment. And we know that as we stay in alignment to our higher selves, stay in alignment to our inner being, then everything that comes into our experience will be a vibrational match to that. Ashe. Peace and love, y'all. Happy Saturday. Hope to see you. Come through if you're in Atlanta, man. Come through and see me.